Hello, good morning, gentlemen. I'm Colonel Karam Singh Best, retired, and I have been in Army for about 35 years. And thereafter, I joined Jila Sainik Kalyan Office in Pithoragarh as ZSWO, and that is Secretary Jila Sainik Kalyan Parishad under Rajya Sainik Board, Dehradun. So today we are going to discuss about the ground testing techniques. So in next slides, we will go about ground testing, and in various phases we will discuss the ground testing techniques and through which we will try to achieve our aim of ground testing, and overall that OLQs which emerge out of it, those will also be discussed. So gentlemen, first thing, the aim is to understand the group testing technique for which we are having this presentation today. Right, gentlemen, in the preview, as you see on the view file, phase 1 introduction to the ground testing, phase 2 is principles of group testing, and phase 3 is rationale of three-phase group testing, and phase 4 is officer-like qualities OLQs, and phase 5 is group situational task, and phase 6 is OLQs emerging from each task, and finally we conclude. We proceed ahead with intro to group testing, how the group testing will be done, and in various phases we will study them one by one. Genuine group testing is basically attempted to determine the ability to function in a group, whether the candidate is fit to function in a group or he functions in isolation, and Army requires a candidate who functions well in the group and ascertain his actual and potential levels and assess suitability for the armed forces. This is what we are looking at, and even if person is not suitable for armed forces, but he knows these techniques and apply in day-to-day life. So we look at group effectiveness. These are the components: effective level of functioning, group cohesiveness, stability. So what does it say? The effective level of functioning is how effectively the candidate is working, at what level he works, and how is his potential in that. Also, how cohesiveness he maintains in his group, and how friendly and how approachable and how good he is with this group to take out the work and function in the group. Also the stability, how stable is he, and there are fluctuations, there are problems, and certain kind of angers expressed, those things are not actually in favor of the candidate. Right, gentlemen, the nature of group tasks. There are various natures of group tasks. A group has different type of tasks, and each individual in the group has to function in those situations, like situational task, stressful task, compelling task, and leaderless task. There is a particular situation which arises immediately. There is no earlier solution you have with you to handle the situation, so you need to function as a group and find out the solution. Then the stressful, there may be a lot of stress, lot of asking requirements which you need, which you have to go through. So at that situation, how you maintain that cohesiveness and take the task from your group. And there are certain situations which are very compelling. In those situations, how do you function in that group? And leaderless task is there is no leader, everybody is equal, and the situation is demanding that there has to be some solution. If you find that solution, and that is also you are looking at in group testing, in each candidate, whether he is fitting in the scheme of things. So dear friends, in this slide you see group tasks provide for freedom to choose on behavioral role. How you want to behave in that group, that role you have to choose. How do you want to function? How do you want to contribute? Then laying down on priorities for the action. As per you, what could be the priorities for that particular task to be resolved, to be solved, and to reach to a common solution, and it is a viable solution and which is acceptable to the group. Then is engagement in collective group activity. How do you engage in that group when the collective task is there? Free interaction. There is no bar, no restriction. Everybody is free to interact. So contribute in that positively. And unnecessary arguments in that group are not appreciated. Varied situational like to be faced during service life. So these kind of situation when you join services, you may face. So for that, you need to maintain your calm and have good decision making. And function in the group amicably. And then finally is room for action and dynamism from the group. How dynamic is the group? What actions the group is taking, and what is the ingenuity? What are the solution, the alternates, and how beyond a particular level the group is thinking. Now we look at various phases of group testing. These are as shown on the view file: basic series, confirmatory series, final series. Let us see them one by one. Well, gentlemen, there is a need for stress. In each individual, each leader, there has to be evaluation to carry out both social and dynamic aspects of an individual under the stressful situation, and he is put through those conditions, and then real self of that particular individual comes out. An interviewing officer, psychologist, and the GTO group testing officer, they see him, assess him in their own ways, and they reach to a conclusion whether this candidate is fit to be taken in or not. And second is to reveal the real part of an individual, which we already discussed, that through all these testing, the real self of the individual will come out. So looking at the social aspect of the individual, what do we see? Extent to which the individual is interested in, sensitive to, and identifies other people and their problems. So if he is interested in looking at the problem solving, and he is interested and he is also very sensitive about these and identifies these problems, and then his contribution in the society is appreciable, and that is what is Army looking for. The third aspect is dynamic aspect. We have seen social aspect also. So level of stress resistance in difficult and awkward situation, how individuals should work, the candidate is seen through coolness in action and calmness in crisis. If there is a crisis, he has to maintain the calmness, then only he can think positively and reach to a solution, find a solution for a problem quickly. So decision making will not be affected by the unnecessary stress if a candidate takes. And its coolness in action, there may be lot of demand, lot of crisis, lot of need to do the work fast, but he has to show the coolness in action so that things are done in a manner they are desired to be done. It should not be in hurried manner and incomplete manner. That is what it is being seen in the candidate. Further, we look at value of group testing battery, that is briefing and conducting a group situational task, observation and recording of behavior responses, identification and interaction of mental traits, appraisal of interplay of various traits, estimation of improvement likely by subsequent training. So gentlemen, the principles of group testing, the most important part of it, which you are going to discuss. First point is the Gestalt, social field, consistency, group development, pre-association, and sociometry. So one by one, we will discuss this and reach to a conclusion that what group testing requires from a candidate. So gentlemen, the first point was Gestalt. Gestalt is not a summation but integration, where each part is interlinked with the other parts and with the whole. So you can understand this is a kind of gist of a personality which is looked at. Third aspect is perception. There are three aspects. First is presentative, actual sense data. Representative, revival and similar past experience. If there has been any past experience that is being revived and the revival of that is looked at. And relational, the relation between the two and giving interpretation. So how one interprets with the relational situation between two things, that is what is also tested. Figure and ground. Figure is object of concentration at a given time. Ground, environment in relation to which the figure is perceived. What are the stages of Gestalt? First is integration, receiving a thing as a whole. And second is differentiation, focusing attention on parts, lifting attention to other parts, and studying each part in continuous interlinked series of the whole. Third is reintegration, that is relating the parts to the whole and whole to the parts. So everything has to be analyzed in toto so that we or the candidate reaches to a conclusion exactly what is the particular thing, and this is what we talk about stages of Gestalt. So application to group testing is integration, that is basic series, and differentiation is confirmatory series, and reintegration is final series. This is what we had talked about in the previous slides, and those must have been confusing for someone, but now here you can understand the integration means basic series. Differentiation part is the confirmatory series. Yes, some candidate is at this level that confirmatory thing is being checked in differentiation, and reintegration is the final series wherein it is confirmed that what is what. Moving on to the social field, gentlemen, humans and the individuals in a society, they function as organism functioning in a social field, and behavior is the function of his reaction to the environment. So basically the human beings are the organisms functioning in a social field. Second is what is his behavior to the particular situation or the reaction to the situation in that environment. Then the question comes, application of social field. What is the application of social field? It is, first thing is behavior observed in totality of coexisting facts. Second is existence of a dynamic field of forces in each individual. Third is effective behavior of the individual observed one part of the situation along with other individuals. Achievement of the group closely relate effectiveness of each individual in the situation. Now we talk of relationship. Reciprocal, one-to-one. You do this for me, I do this for you, that is a reciprocal thing. And circular is or alternating leadership followership and leadership. So alternating the leadership and followership and then leadership. So it means first you are a leader because the alternating factor is leadership, followership, then leadership. So as a leader, what do you do? As a follower, what do you do? How you perform? Then third thing comes dynamism, strength giving by mutual support. That is what is the dynamism. Let's move on to next point, consistency. Smaller variation in performance level, that is more consistent. It means if your performance has got small variation, not much, that is called more consistent. Larger variation in performance level are less consistent, means you doing something in particular situation and similar situation if comes and then you are behaving differently in that and reacting differently. So there larger variation is found there. So candidate is less consistent in this case. Now let's go through factors affecting consistency. First thing is the maturity, level of aspiration, depth and quality of thinking, attitude towards work, people and responsibility, type of experiences in life. Rest all points are explanatory, and last point is type of experiences in life. Whatever individual has done in his life, 18 years, 20 years, 25 years, whatever be the case with the individual candidate, he's been exposed to the particular situation and he had experienced the life in those situations. That effect is shown in his work, his reaction and his group interaction. So that is what is being looked at. So we look at group level development. It is basically man being gregarious by nature. His natural milieu is group. So we move further now. Stages of group development. Formation, that is arrival at SSB. Exploration is group discussion. Competition is group planning exercise GPE. Cooperation is progressive group task. Discipline is GOR, group obstacle race. Right, gentlemen, we talk of free association in group testing, that is generating natural and spontaneous behavior. Situation will be given in such a manner that your natural behavior comes out and it is a spontaneous behavior also, and GTO's role will be passive as an observer and he will only interfere, purposive interference will be seen during this group testing. How do they find sociometry in the group? That is understanding structure and functioning of the groups, positive, negative, indifferent feelings, and this is utilized in command task. So whether the candidate is positive, he is negative, he is indifferent, and his feelings to all kind of situations or particular situation with the candidate or co-worker or the group member. So that is has to be seen. The group situational tasks. The aim of this is affording each candidate every opportunity to reveal himself fully, both individually and in relationship with others. So the sole aim is that candidate is given complete opportunity to reveal himself, the qualities he possesses, the attitude he has. That is what is. Moving further, gentlemen, we talk of types of group situational tasks. Basic series is group discussion, group planning exercise GPE, progressive task, and group obstacle race. Then confirmatory series is half group task, lecturate, individual obstacle, command task. Final series is final group task. Talking about rationale of three-phase testing is integration, differentiation, and reintegration. This we will study further. In basic series, what is the aim? To promote conditions suitable for development of group, to get a balanced sample of each candidate's group effectiveness. Then group discussion, and the aim of the group discussion, that is to help the candidate to know or explore each other. So the conduct of the group discussion is presentation of topic, the preamble not too short or too long, should not show any bias, and with clear and straightforward questions, minimum 3 leads, contradictory, divergent, yet compatible, both topics of the same weightage, first two topics of average level, second topic based on performance. Through group discussion, what values are being looked at is logical or generalizes, ideal, trite and copied or sound, fractional or childish illusions, optimistic or uncritical, receptive or not, repetitive or new line of thought, contents of view, manner of advocating. This point is very important. You do not advocate to others what is to be done, how he should behave like, but then what you should do is you should focus on your kind of discussion and the points you are giving, not to counter people in such a manner that becomes offensive. Extent of impression is you just look into the eyes of the candidates, don't look towards your testing officer. Others' reaction to him means how others are reacting to you and your reaction to that. Right, gentlemen, we move on to group planning exercise, very important exercise. The aim of this exercise is to create interdependent interaction promotively in a social situation, to make one competitively interrelated with others with a view to achieve recognition of one's ideas and plan in the given and to have the same accepted. Now, group planning exercise, how it is structured and how it is narrated. So, structure of the narrative is must start with you are a group of students and have the following, namely coming from, going to, mode of conveyance and purpose. So, these are the uh, ways the narrative is framed and situation is posed before you. Simple language as small sentences, realistic narration, problem interwoven, 3 problems, 1 red herring and a blind factor. Remember this now. There will be 3 problems, minimum, maybe 4. One of them is red herring. Red herring means just somebody said something and that has spread and that may be a situation created and not very important. And a binding factor. That is, what are the binding factors for this situation? What are you looking at? Obvious and hidden resources you have with you that you have to imagine, and the situation, location and resources, the people around that you need to appreciate. Narrative in one para and additional information to be avoided. Time in AM/PM has to be given. Avoid abbreviations. Last sentence, time now is. What will you do? This is how the GTO or that narration which you write, which you see and go through it. The last sentence will be time now is 10:30 hours or 14:30 hours, and what will you do in this situation, whatever is given the narration. Group planning exercise, gentlemen, design considerations are should be applicable to the group intended for. Situation should be within the knowledge and experience of all candidates. That's very important thing, that nothing will come out of syllabus kind of thing, that which you do not know, which you cannot solve, which you cannot be aware of or not heard of. That kind of situation will not come. You will get a situation wherein you can take active participation and understand, appreciate the situation and reach to a conclusion that what could be your action. The priority of action should provide an equal opportunity to all in exercising their imagination. No specialized knowledge required to find a solution to the problem. So it is going to be very simple, but you have to be very practical. Should have minimum of 3 workable solution. The problem should have 3 workable solution. Should have 1 distraction, that is red herring. Should neither be too simple nor too serious, but strong enough to lead the less discrimination. So gentlemen, in group planning exercise itself, the values are ability to grasp the situation as a whole and in particular ability to think constructively and imaginatively. This is most important. Objective of view, open-mindedness to the problem and to the others, goodwill towards people in general, contribution towards collective solution. This has to be seen that you are contributing towards the collective solution, not throwing your own solution on other people in the group, and that is not going to work. If your solution has got merit, the people will accept it and it will be done. Even if they don't accept it, the testing officer is sitting there, he knows that you are on the right line, but the group is not cooperating with you. Go with the group, and you should be convincing enough for your group that whatever you say with conviction that what you have thought of has got merit and it is workable, solution is viable. Ability to coordinate, ability to convince, planning and organizing, ELOF and GC, that is GAPRTs. So last thing we saw in the previous slide was GAPRTs. So the group planning exercise, the written solution will be G. First thing is to grasp. A is aim, P is priorities, R is resources, T is time plan, S is solution. So first thing is grasping. That has to happen, whether you are grasping correct or not, that is seen. That you understand the aim. Aim is to sort out the problem. Then the most important thing in this is prioritizing the problems in hand and utilization of resources and time plan. And finally you reach to the solution. So this is what we are looking at. So far so good, gentlemen. Now progressive group tasks, PGT. The rules are the group rules, color rule, distance rule, rule of rigidity and rule of infinity. So PGT, gentlemen, PGT is significance of load, add to difficulty level, binding factors being common liability, some satisfaction of odd candidates. So gentlemen, the PGT is conducted in basic principles, that is, it should require no specialized knowledge or skill in tackling the PGT. Successive obstacles should be progressively more difficult. Each obstacle should have minimum of 3 workable solutions. The first obstacle should have a wide entry and the second narrow entry and third is narrowest entry and the last one wide entry. And third obstacle should provide for an impasse and fourth obstacle should present some degree of frustration. That is what is looked at PGT. Entry and frontage is basically which we have talked about. Entry is area around which individual in a group functions. A frontage is physical working space confronting the task. Entry, wide entry is shakedown, narrow entry is shifting of heads and tails, and narrow entry is shifting of heads. So we talk of rationale of PGT is alternate solutions, cooperation or enough scope for majority to take part in any operation, and frontage. What are the PGT values? Struggle for leadership takes a new turn as verbal skills are not at premium. Problem dealt with only when the group as a whole has accepted the plan. Actual execution requires combined effort, that is group cohesiveness, which is most important, gentlemen. Enforces a degree of cooperative activity in the group through competition for leadership continues. You have to strive to become a leader in that group, and you must be attempting to lead the group, but in a very apt manner and in a subtle manner. You should negotiate this action of yours. Inadequacies of purely assertive and exposed, and the less assertive get the opportunity to come forward. The stress of problem and time generates spontaneity of the candidates towards each other. Now moving on to the group obstacle race. This is with the aim that social and emotional integration of the group is looked at. It's all very important. You need to be very cautious also. You cannot just go there and be part of it and not contributing, not interested. That kind of behavior is not acceptable, and you should not be looking at the evaluator and the assessor for the attention. You should not be attention seeker, basically what I want to say. So GOR, we read about the rules. Once the snake is picked up, it must not touch the ground till the finish line is crossed. So you will be given a snake, basically made up of some clothes, basically that is Hassan clothes, and then that snake the group has to lift. It will be little heavier also. The entire group has to coordinate that. Snake should take exactly same course as taken by the group in the obstacle. Snake cannot go from other side and the candidates move from other side, different side. Shake it not to be fold or shortened in any manner, and at any one time a minimum of 3 people must hold it. So that is the rule. The group rule is applicable. Snake must not touch any out of bound areas. Now group obstacle race, what is the value? Fast moving, battlefield condition, discipline, self control, self confidence, self interest to group interests, group cohesiveness, organizing ability, teamwork, physical attributes seen. So these are the aspects which are seen in a candidate, and the entire group is working. Some will exhibit this, some will not. Those who exhibit, they will be taken. Well, gentlemen, now the confirmatory scheme series. The aim is to confirm findings and to resolve the queries raised in basic series. After having seen PGT and GOR, now we look at half group tasks. The purpose of this is the division. The entire group is divided into two. It's a half group. There's a separate doubtful from others, means that they are going to separate the candidates who are doubtful from the other guys. Remove thrusters from inhibited ones. Those who are thrusting, just remove them. Remove the disruptive ones from the others. Those who are disruptive, those who are disturbing and not letting the group function, they also are separated. Break a, click if formed. So if 2 3 guys, there's a scene that if the guys are and click and they are making a noise and they are not letting others to come forward, so they are also separate leaders and followers from each other. So half group task, gentlemen, the value is to take a close look at a small group, observations narrowed to the specific areas, scrutinize behavior in a greater detail, separate competing individuals, compels others to take action. In this series, gentlemen, now we move on to the lecturate. Lecturate cards are issued two average level topics, one above average topic and one below average level topic. So 3 topics will be given to you, and these topics as 3 to 4 topics. It's talking about 2 average level topics, one above average level topic and one below average level topic. So you select one. So what value you are looking at the lecturate? From lecturate, the manner of speech, self-confidence, ability to put across subject matter, flow of ideas, interest generated in the group. Note the extent of candidates' performance, delegated authority role. Individual obstacles, the values are ability to plan and execute body and muscular skills, physical fitness, endurance, stamina, and application to the work. Points scored are a board guide to the physical fitness. Manner is more significant. Command task values are individual urge for leadership and responsibility, but not their capacity, and vice versa. Aim to elicit leadership capacity, not revealed in the leaderless task. Lesser leaders get a chance. Strong candidates do not allow other docile ones to perform. Opportunities to those who do not seek but can function at a sufficiently high level. Responsibility, planning and organizing, reaction to setbacks. So gentlemen, command tasks applies and requires patience and persistence, coordination, utilization of resources, difficult situation of stress, command and control, conduct of coordinates, loyalty, cooperation, and obedience. Talking of final group task values, last look at candidates in action as a complete group provides opportunity for resolving any lingering doubts, confirmatory glance at others, return to the group and referring back to the overall pattern, close view to distance view, large image in close-up of phase 2 assumes rightful size, sums up impressions of both the leaders, both the earlier planning and gain overall picture. Well, gentlemen, in concluding line, GTO technique is based on a set of sound principles. The principles contributing mainly are Gestalt, social field, group development, while other principles have contributed to a lesser degree. Thank you very much for your patience, and similarly in other exercises also, when we progress in PGT, GT, command task, final group task, GOR, lecturate, group discussions, one by one in the series of my lectures and basically in the form of presentations for you all. We will see all these in detail, and stay tuned and keep providing this material to your friends in case you find this material is helpful to you and your friends need it, and you may like it. If you like it, like the um, presentation given to you and share with your friends, and there is no other aim from my side and except for your well-being and you cracking your SSB interviews in fast go and as early as possible. Thank you very much. Have a great time learning good things, developing your personality, and my endeavor will be to assist you offline, online, as well as and when you require me. Thank you very much.